And wonderful. So I want to welcome everyone to the fifth week, the week of Hod, which I will translate that term in a little bit because it means several things at once. And it's also the 14th day of Iyar, which means it's exactly a month after Pesach, and which is also known as Pesach Sheni. It's if for reason of illness or remoteness you were not able to celebrate Pesach, you can do a do-over on today. So you know, it's just something to be aware of.
It feels like Pesach was about 2 years ago.
It was. It was. But of course, that was Pesach in 57, 78. Just saying. So I'm going to start sharing the screen, and we will check in with each other in a little bit. But let's get this here. See if I can move this here properly. And just as a way of singing our way into the holy space here, we always start each week with a place of chesed, with flowing love, with loving kindness. And so I invite you just to feel your heart and to listen to your heart. And let your heart be the rhythm section of our chant here. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Remember to mute yourself. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me and renew true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Lev tahor brali Elohim, brali lev tahor. Lev tahor brali Elohim, brali lev tahor, meheru ach nachon, kadesh kadesh bekirbi, meheru ach nachon, kadesh kadesh bekirbi. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me, oh. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. L'shemichuku chabrichu shrinta. So put that back up again, and but for now it's just good to see our faces, and I invite us, we're going to do this at the beginning and at the end of our little practice together. Just take a deep cleansing breath. And just a few breaths. And when you breathe in the surrounding light. And as you breathe out, breathe that light, that love into your heart. And breathe in that Or HaMakif, that surrounding light. And breathe it out into our shared virtual space now. Our molecules mixing in love. And breathe in that surrounding light. And breathe it out into the world with love. Erev Tov, everyone. I want to ask you, we've been through a week of persevering with all kinds of little sfirot within sfirot, all with its unique nuances. And we're about to enter into a week of splendor, a week of gratitude, a week of humility and devotion, and a week of beauty. Those are just a few of the meanings associated with Hod. And this is, as we will see, the week of the primary week where we really, really are working on cultivating the good heart. We've been doing that throughout, but it's going to come to a tipping point this week when we get to Lag BaOmer. I'm not going to say everything because we have a Lag BaOmer practice, but that's just a way of setting this up here. And again, feel the pulsing of your heart, of the divine beloved coursing through you and coursing through the world. And I haven't actually done this because it seems so over the top, and I don't have enough masks to do it. But you know, there's a color that's associated with each sfira, and there's different understandings of what that color might be, what the color of Hod is. It's not the one understanding, but I once years ago did I had almost enough earrings at the time that each week of the Omer, I put on a color of the earring. I just have a small earring that was associated with that week. And I don't have two holes in me, so I can't do the sfira within the sfira. But it occurred to me one could do this with masks, and in a way that there is, maybe for each day of the week, if you happen to have seven masks that you recycle and wash, that there could be a way of working with that. Or if that's too consumerist, no worries about it. There are many other ways of doing this, but it did occur to me. And so I'll just do a very brief check-in, like a sentence, which I know is really hard for me and probably for you too. Just something about where you are sitting right now. Just a phrase that that maybe captures this moment right now as we're about to enter into this week. And I'll start. I'm Elliot. I'm sitting in Ann Arbor, and where I'm right now is a sense of rising expectation, or rising tide. Linda, Dominic, and then Deb. You have to unmute before you speak, unless you're a lip reader. I'm gonna help you, Linda.
Okay, now I can speak.
Now you can.
I'm sitting in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I found out this morning, my son who lives in Scotland says, "Mom, I really don't think you should come on the 27th of May." And I certainly concur with that. And the removal of this should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, has given me a clarity, and I feel a renewed energy and like okay, I'll go in October. I'll take my long underwear. It's okay. And there's so much space in between. It's full of opportunity. And my son and I sat down and I said, you can stay as long as you need to. I don't know when our states are going to open up. And we have really found that an older mom and an adult son can find an accommodation in each other's presence when we have differing styles of life, as it were. But it's all good, and some of our days, oh, it's supposed to be one sentence. I'm sorry. We just talk a lot, and that's good.
Shamati, thank you. Okay, so just, yes, it was beautiful and it really brought us in. And if we could just, this is just a teaser, a way of coming in. So Deb and then Renee.
I am sitting in northern Michigan, and I am sitting with some loss and sadness, and also with a sense of peace and possibility. Debarti.
Shamati, thank you so much. Renee and Lucinda and maybe Oren. I've learned that to not say just Lucinda when I see only her. I'm going to unmute you, Renee. Oh wait, now it moves. Okay, here you're on mute. Okay, we double did it. You're on, Renee.
Am I? Okay. All right. I'm Renee. I'm sitting here in Ann Arbor. Right now I feel a sense of calm. I actually spent some time late afternoon in my vegetable garden. That always makes me feel, maybe more than anything else right now, makes me feel calm. I couldn't plant because it's going to be so cold this weekend, but I got several beds ready for planting. I think that's about all.
Shamati. And Lucinda and whoever, either Oren or Linda Jo.
I'm sitting in the warm breezes of the Florida Keys and feeling much gratitude for the opportunity of just breathing in the ocean air and having a lot of time to be outside and exercise and take in the glory of nature. Debarti.
Shamati. Is Oren's not there, I take it?
He's somewhere else, right?
Ah, okay. So Linda, as in Joe.
So
And then Linda Leah.
Ann Arbor, second floor. I find myself resonating each week with the day of Gevurah, that it really helps in the discernment for me, and it helps in holding the container.
T-Bart.
Debarti.
Shamati. And Linda Leah and Lois.
I have returned to Ann Arbor, so I'm sitting in my beloved office. And I'm really dwelling in delight. I've had a very out of the normal experience, I think, for most people. And my experience continues to be like that. Although my Ann Arbor grandchildren are observing distance because I haven't been back from the airplane experience. They're thinking maybe 8 days by Mother's Day, they might let me 6 feet and closer than 6 feet. But, this time has really been about everything else but have fear and anxiety due to COVID. I'm totally immersed in my family's well-being, and mostly I have a lot of good times. So I think I consider myself to be in a bubble of gratitude and love, having spent 7 weeks with my 3-year-old grand twins, and somehow managed to continue some of my own work, leading meditation and Rosh Chodesh, which was a trick there with the time zone and so forth. So I just gratitude, and delight. Devarti.
Mati, perfect. Lois and Suanne. I'm going to unmute you, Lois. Let's see if I can do that here. Okay. No, I'm not able to do it. So maybe you can unmute yourself.
Is that good?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. I'm sitting in the 3rd floor of my condo, looking out at the treetops, and there's just like curtains of, it's like lace, like green lace. It's just beautiful. And it feels really good. And I am still bouncing between feeling really good and being able to focus on some creative things, and then feeling anxiety, just going back and forth. But as of this moment, it feels wonderful to be here. I have some tea. Anyway, Devarte.
Mati, thank you so much, Lois. And Suanne.
Hi, everyone. I'm sitting in Toledo, Ohio. Thank God for Netzach, because it's through the perseverance that I delight in starting week 5. Week 5 out of 7. So it almost feels like some kind of achievement. And so I'm grateful for that, and to be with all of you. Tabarti.
Blessed are all of us who came. I'm going to put it in the feminine because it seems to be that I am the representative of the 49% of our population, or maybe it's less than that with gender fluid, but we're it's pretty close. And so good to be with you. And I'm going to put up the one of the 2 shared documents for today. It means I can't see you, but hey, hopefully this will be okay. And I can see I can see some of you, let's put it that way. And Linda, if somehow something goes wrong, you'll let me know, as in Linda Joe. So this is the 5th week. It is the week of Hod. And Hod means, it means splendor. In Hebrew, and yet some of the Kabbalists from Girona in the 13th century in Catalonia read that as a play on hoda'ah, on gratitude, modeh ani, right? Others read it in the tradition as humility, or a kind of devotion, which in Hebrew we sometimes call misirat or misirut nefesh, the handing over, the giving over of our being, of our soul, right? And we'll say something about that in a bit. And of course, the splendor and beauty, which Reb Zalman really liked that notion, because he played with the notion of this sphira as one of really opening to a sense of beauty and the aesthetic, and serving the divine and serving the world through our embodied being. And for whatever reason, he seemed to think that I was associated with Hod. So that's one of the reasons that I chose this, in part because I'm really into the pathways of the senses, and so this has continued to resonate for me. And we'll just look at some of these meanings here. Some of it's a little frontal right now, but the notion of gratitude, of hoda'ah, like that or hodaya, but they both mean gratitude. If you read it as hodaya, you can see the divine word, the divine name within after hod, the splendor of God, opening to thanksgiving, to gratitude, and really with the notion of, as Sylvia Boorstein put it, starting each day, or starting whenever you wish to restart each day, saying, here am I, hineni, not hiding, grateful, modeh ani, grateful for this body, for this breath and this breath, even in hard times, really. And there's a sense with the word of gratitude in Hebrew, of modeh, that it also means to acknowledge. And I want us to think, what is the relationship between acknowledging where we are and gratitude? It's that the great poem called Prayer by Galway Kinnell that goes, whatever happens, whatever what is what I want. Only that, but that. And I think, is it a relief sometimes when we when we can acknowledge what is, even when it is so hard? And what is the kind of gratitude that rises through us, that is also a kind of acknowledging, also a kind of connecting up between us and the source of being within us and without us? Reb Zalman used to say, are things good enough, right? And that it's the sense of what he would say, ashrei. We are happy, we are grateful, or we are fortunate. Ashrei yoshvei vetecha. Fortunate are those of us who dwell in your home, in your house. And I read that today. Fortunate are those of us who have a home to dwell in as well. And for those of us who have that, humble though it be, some sense of gratitude. The way in which a Jewish way of offering up the prayer that Galway Kinnell articulates in his beautiful poem is what the Sfas Emes says. I'll just give you the English here. Don't pray for what you don't have as much as pray for what you already do have. And so what are those gifts that are there on our skin and haven't yet been absorbed, or that have been occluded, that we need to open to? And what happens when we start from that place? There's still, of course, a place for anger, for taina, for complaint, for grief. Maybe grief. I like the way Mary Oliver says it: grief, not grievances. But what is it when sometimes we can move from feeling cursed to feeling blessed? The same thing that sometimes makes us feel that we are snake bit, also sometimes is that very source of blessing. And so living within Hoda'ah this week, at once grateful and acknowledging, misspelled, okay, acknowledge, I'll correct that later, where we are. And I love there's a Hasidic teaching. Move to the next one here, see if it comes up. Oh, It might. Okay, here. I went too far. Okay, I have to go through two of them here. That says basically, there are times when you are not at prayer, but you are so connected. You are so connected with the divine in a kind of dveikut. And there are other times when you are in the midst of prayer and there's no connection. What do you do then? And the Hasidic master says, stand where you are, where you truly are. Ve'oved be'achimu, and serve with love. Serve with love. And that's where we are today. You know, this acknowledging where we are and nonetheless serve with love. There's an alternate version of this very text right here that says, stand where you are, ve'oved b'dchilu, serve with awe. And that, in some ways, is closer to what we're going to be saying tomorrow. It is when we're in a place of gvura. And one of the meanings of gvura, sometimes it is that it is associated with yira'ah, which can mean some fear, but also a sense of profound awe. Stand in awe and serve. Stand where you are and serve with awe. Okay, you know what? I want to exit from that. Good. And so let's go back here. And someone willing to read this. This is an interpretation by Stephen Mitchell of Psalm 16. And I think of,
I'll read.
Go ahead.
Unnameable God, I feel you with me at every moment. You are my food, my drink, my sunlight, and the air I breathe. You are the ground I have built on and the beauty that rejoices my heart. I give thanks to you at all times for lifting me from my confusion, for teaching me in the dark and showing me the path of life. I have come to the center of the universe. I rest in your perfect love. In your presence, there is fullness of joy and blessedness forever and ever.
Thank you so much, Lucinda. And I sometimes wonder why we Jews bless for besorot ra'ot, even for hard things, and what that means is some kind of spiritual practice. And move on now to the second notion of hod, moving from hoda'ah, gratitude and the acknowledgement of where we stand, and maybe finding the gratitude in where we stand, and starting from a place of love. And that's hod as humility and devotion. Devotion in the sense of mesirut nefesh, of giving over, as some people say, not coming from those self-esteem, but as I put it, and maybe people can weigh in on this, from an awareness that life is a gift, not to be taken for granted, that many privileges that come to us are not of our own making, that we have been gifted, that we are also part of a vast cosmos, that we are at one and the same time infinitely precious at the scale at which we live our lives, and infinitesimally small at the same time. A small knot on the vast rope of life, an image that I remember Rami Shapiro sharing once at a teaching he gave many years ago at Beth Emeth. And so very often what we do in spiritual practice, and also when we die, is that knot becomes untied and rejoins with that cosmic stream or rope of life. But here we are, infinitely precious and infinitesimally small at the same time, that our lives unfold in this awesome space between life and death, that we really tap into that awareness at certain times of heightened awareness at prayer, for example, that we are part of a vast evolving web of life, that we inter-are with the planet, with the cosmos, that even what we call ourself is a part of a biome. And we certainly get that sense right now that in Jewish tradition, there's a notion of the tselem of the astral body, as it were, that radiates out from us. And usually it's understood as being Daled Amot behind us. And that Daled Amot is 6 feet, folks. And so, so when we keep 6 feet apart, there's still a sense that there's a mimshak, that there is an interface, that our presence, our auras still kiss each other in a way from that space. But even ourself is part of a biome that we contain within us, bacteria and other beings of all sorts without which we cannot possibly live, and of course, with whom sometimes we struggle to live. And I'll just zoom ahead for a second here to show you this. This is like a t-shirt, that my friend Jack Kessler wears. You are here. And that's why I said not picture Jack Kessler. It was a joke if Gabrielle were here. But we know in this vast cosmos, we are a speck of a speck of a speck of dust from that perspective. And let me go back. Where was I here? Art Green writing that at certain moments of awe, maybe it's before a work of art, maybe it is when we're at the ocean or at a mountain or walking the streets of the city, seeing things that just boggle the mind. That moments that tell us that the world may be a source of endless wonderment, of unfathomable beauty, inexplicable but overwhelming joy. This realization fills us with a sense of magnificence. I would call it enlargement, of smallness and belonging all at once. Those three, of large enlargement, of smallness, and of belonging all at once, is something I believe that is connected to this sense of humility. Our heart, again, I misspelled, fills with love of the world around us and with awe before the grandeur by a sense of ineffable presence that fills the universe, and I would say binds us to us. That's the sense of devotion. We have only to be present, to be open to the miraculous bounty, the shefa of life that ever surrounds and fills us. At such times we affirm with the prophet that the whole earth is filled with God's glory. And of course we say to that, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. And I know some of us struggle with the name Adonai. We might reread it with one sense of ladun, to dwell within. It's the divine that dwells within us. But conventionally, it is the God that is Lord, the God that is beyond us. And I remember Art Green teaching that the name Adonai, so often maligned, can serve to break our pride, our self-centered ego. I know that some of us may need a greater sense of self-acceptance and of self. I get that. But there is something else that's tied to this too. And that is we, maybe as a species and maybe as individuals, that the way in which we see ourselves at the center of the cosmos, of that space kind continuum, while wholly understandable, blinkers our awareness of the way in which we inter-are. So amazement, yes. Gratitude, yes, but also a deeper sense of humility at our gifts and the way in which the world is this weave of presence. And if I were to go further on this, which I won't, we're to the third thing here. I would go to Moses Cordovero in his Tomer Dvorah, because he associates the sense of humility not as much with Hod as with Keter. Keter. It's the ayin consciousness. It's the conscious of the no thing. It's where the ego self melts away. And so there is, it's only the nothing that can hold the all. Some of the Hasidic masters teach us. And so there's a way that whether it's a humility that is of the no thing, or whether it's a humility that grows out of this sense of awe and radical amazement, and where we respond with love and with devotion to serve, that's very powerful for me, a kind of surrender, as it were, that may grow out of gratitude and acceptance. And then, oops, the third, I'm going to find it yet. Where is it? Here it is. Sense here. And that is Hod is splendor. And here I say an opening to beauty, the realm of the sensory and the aesthetic. And this lines so beautifully where we are in let's say in North America, with the beauty of ER, of May. And these are just a few images, and I'll just share them with you without a great deal of comment, just noting they're from within like 5 minutes of my house over the past week. That mosaic is just of places within 5 minutes from the house on one day, one snapshot. And so I want us to just to think of some of the moments of beauty that we've seen over the past week. And the one thing that blew my mind yesterday was I saw just a beautiful Baltimore Oriole coming and eating peanuts from our feeder. It just blew me away, that beauty. And so just maybe close your eyes and feel the breeze and the scent in the air. And some of the surprise that we feel, that even though we are inside, even though our world is so altered, at the same time, the natural world around us is blossoming and opening. And lift it up as a prayer of gratitude. It's a gesture. There's a breath that we give back. And finally, there is in Hod a sense Kabbalistically that this is part of prophetic consciousness. Netzach and Hod both. And so I call it strong prophetic energy on the left side. And this is the tipping point in the counting of the Omer by another metric. And that is that we reach Lag BaOmer on Monday night, Tuesday, the 33rd day of the Omer, the day of revelation, the day of the lifting of a plague in rabbinic tradition. I don't expect that now, but I am aware that plagues do lift, that they do shift at some point. And that we don't get to Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer, until we get to Lev BaOmer, the 32nd day of the Omer, Netzach Shebahod. And there's a whole very powerful tradition of seeing the 49 days here as being a process of cultivating Lev Tov. Just the simple version of this, of Lev Tov, the good heart, the good heart. And what is the good heart? Lev in Hebrew and Gematria is 32. And on the 33rd day, what opens up is Tov, the good. But that also means expanded consciousness in Hebrew. And Tov in Hebrew, the Gematria of Tov is 17. So you add it up, it's 49. So there's a tipping point right before when we cultivate and open the channels of the heart. And so what does it mean this week here? I couldn't get a red heart. It came out as, as black. So I said, I am red. Working to open the heart through gratitude, humility, through waking to and through beauty. Opening the heart. So Lev Bomer, paving the way to Lag Bomer. Lag Bomer, the day of the sacred fire, of the bonfire, of healing, of seeing deeply through the light of expanded awareness. And only after the Lev is open, after through the 32 days and the 32 paths of wisdom and amazement, do we say, Gal enai v'abita niflot mitoratecha. Gal enai, open, Gal, open my eyes, that I may see wonders, that I may see wonders in and through your Torah. And Gal in Hebrew, if I want to play with that word, Gal means not only to open to revelation, but it also means wave. So attain a wave consciousness, a different way of seeing. But why is it that it's only on the 33rd day that we say, open my eyes in this kind of way? And I say, following the B'nai Yissaschar, it's because when the heart is open, one sees differently. And so my invitation to you is to work on these next few days, until we get to Hod Shebahod, as an opening the heart and seeing with the heart and seeing what comes through us and what comes to us at this time. I'm gonna maybe skip this for this point, but I just want to go and feel the pulsing of the beloved here as the heart opens, the pulsing of the life force of the divine. Kodo didofek. And maybe we will chant this just to bring us to the counting itself. This is Reb Zalman's song, and it's a song of love. And it's about seeing through the lattice work, seeing the divine beloved, hearing the knocking of the beloved, feeling the knocking of the beloved on the doors of our heart, and feeling the pulsing of the beloved within us, and feeling the pulsing of the beloved through the world. הנה זה אומר אחר כותלנו, אחר כותלנו, מה השגיח מן החלונות, מציץ בין החרקים, באתי לגני, אחותי חלרי, איתי מורי, עם בשמי, באתי לגני, אחותי חלרי, איתי מורי, עם בשמי. Hold on the dofek pitchili, hold on the dofek pitchili, pitchili achoti rayati, pitchili. באתי לגני, אחותי חלה, ראיתי מורי בשמי, באתי לגני, אחותי חלה, ראיתי מורי בשמי. I have come to my garden. That's for you, Renee. My sister, my beloved, I have gathered the myrrh with all fragrances and spices. And so close that out right now. And just go around before we count and just get a sense from you here. If this week want to align with Hod more as gratitude or acceptance, more as humility, and or more as the sense of opening to beauty. It could be all three, of course. And just again, we'll try to do it really, really, really in a sentence here, just because of time. And yeah, and we'll start with Lucinda, and then Linda Dominic. Okay. Oh, so you have to unmute. Let's see. No, I think we're doing it for each other. Now you're unmuted.
Please repeat exactly what you'd like me to share.
Oh, okay. So we'll start with Linda Dominic, but it's which of the three senses of Hod here that we've been talking about, of gratitude, awareness, of humility and devotion, or of the sense of opening through beauty that speaks to you the most for not forever, but for right now, for this week. Okay, and we'll start with Linda Dominic, and then we'll come back to Lucinda. Okay, you have to unmute. No, try it again. Now go ahead.
The biggest challenge for me, I think, would be humility, especially that phrase, don't pray for what you don't have, pray for what you do have, which is also a principle of expansion in the manifest universe. And that resonates with me. That is what I would need to focus on. And finding the beauty as that unfolds.
Mm-hmm. And start with love as you enter into that space. Yes, because that's the day. Yeah. And Lucinda and Linda Leah.
Mm-hmm. The sense that we are with the planet and all things in it. That we are interconnected in some very profound way with all light, all being, and the desire for there to be a reconciliation of so much conflict and coming into the place of unity where we are interconnected is such a profound wish of mine.
Thank you. Linda Leah, and then I'll go to Linda Jo. I'm going to do a Linda series here.
The scope of Linda's. Well, I'm so basking in gratitude. It's interesting. I find that immersing in the connection to the beauty and the magnificent of the order of the design of it all leads to humility. I think it was in the writings. So I think that would be a good place for me to be working this week, especially since I'm just blown away that I got home in time to experience spring on my own property, just to see it awakening and things blooming and coming to life. It's just, we still don't have leaves out on our trees out here in the countryside. So it sounds like Lois has got leaves blowing. I don't have those yet. So that's what struck me.
Linda Jo, and then Lois. You have to unmute, even though I can hear you from upstairs.
Humility. I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, the two things that come to mind are, one is, I'm just, there's a humbleness. I mean, humility, humbleness, because I'm just very aware of the people that have put themselves out, and that I'm at home and I'm safe. And then there's the other, yeah, and the other piece has to do more with some work stuff of humility when leading from behind. So humility seems to be the right space for me.
Shamati. Lois and then Suanne.
I would choose humility also. I think it encompasses everything else that you had talked about. And it has to do with realizing how small and interconnected we and everything is. So, Devarte? Devarte or
No, that's beautiful. Suanne and Deb.
So this encapsulates where I'd like to try to stay this week. Being in the presence, being in the present, and giving thanks. And these are words directly from Rabbi Yael Levy's book called Journey Through the Wilderness. But it touches me. It combines all three. Barty.
Shamati. Deb and Renee.
I did I did not know until a few days ago that violets are edible. And I have made violet syrup. And there's a small circle of people who are also making violet syrup. And it is the most wonderful shade of light purple lavender that I could have imagined. So the theme for me is opening to beauty at this time of year, even though it's going to snow here tomorrow. Devarti.
Mati, Renee, and then we'll count. Renee, you have to unmute.
There we go. Okay. I was just saying that I would like the one sentence to be about 12, if I could. Am I unmuted? Yeah.
Yes.
A year ago, I was in such physical pain that lasted for several months that the period of the Omer, I thought about it. I couldn't relate to it because all I could do was manage the pain. And I'm in a very different place today. So I feel gratitude for that. But several people, including my doctor, has asked me what helped. Was it physical therapy? Was it chiropractor? What was it? And I have no idea. I think it was time. I don't think anything helped as much as time. And so I feel a sense of humility because it's the unknowing. I mean, how did this happen? How did I get out of it? How come I'm physically fit today? Why am I in a different place today than I was a year ago? It's pretty amazing to me, both humility and gratitude. And then the third thing is I'm beginning to realize that the earth is in better shape because of this. We may not be in such great shape, but the earth is in better shape. And it's getting a little bit of a chance to recover. It's getting the Sabbath, I think, that it deserves a little bit. And so I have a sense of gratitude of what this is bringing also. Devarti.
Shamati, it really is like a Shemitah year. And mine was also humility through a sense of awe and amazement. And so now we'll put on the text for counting. Yeah, hoping this is it. And for the sake of unifying the divine transcendent and divine immanence to unite that which has been torn apart in awe and love, itchilu u'chimu, in love and awe, b'rachimu utchilu. I am prepared and ready to be called into connection through counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ve'etzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed is the mystery that flows through time and space. You infuse us with holiness and call us into connection through the counting of the Omer. What day is it? Hayom Tishav Yesrim Yom Shem Arba Shavuot Yom Echad LaOmer. Today, everyone, is the 29th day, which is 4 weeks and 1 day of the Omer. Chesed Shebeho. And if you do the Ana B'Koach practice, the word for today is really interesting, is Hasin, which means strong or tough, or sacred power, source of power, all those source of possibility, all those things there. But I do like toughness in some ways, even balancing out the sense of that open heart right now. I kind of like that here, Hasin. Source of strength. So we'll do Ana B'Koach. We'll use the Reb Zalman chant here. We'll do it in the Hebrew. You can see the lightened word that is the word for today. Ana B'Koach gedulat yamincha ta'atir tzurura. Ay, 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 ay. Kaberirat amcha sagvenu taharenu nora. Ay, 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 ay. Third verse. Na gibor do sheichutcha kevavat shomrema. Ay, 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 ay. Baruchem tarem rachameh tzidkatcha. Ta'amid gomlem. Ay, 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 ay. Chasin kadosh berov tuvcha. Na heladatacha, ay, 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 yachid ge'el yamcha pnei, zochre kedushatacha, ay, 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 shavatenu kaber ushma tzakatenu yodea talumot, ay, 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 and we add Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto le'olam va'ed, because this is the name of God through time and space. Your glory shines, majestic one. Ay, 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 ay. And by means of our counting, may Shefarav, abundant divine flow, come through all worlds. May I be cleansed and sanctified with the holiness on high. And through this quality of chesed shebehod, gratitude, humility, and beauty coursing, of loving kindness coursing through Hod. May abundant bounty flow through the world. May Shefa, radiant light, come through and heal our nefesh, ruach, and neshama, and all the layers of our body, mind, and soul, sanctifying us with the holiness of the Elyon. Amen. Selah. So closing, breathe in deeply and breathe light into our hearts. Breathe in deeply from the surrounding light and breathe love and light into our shared sacred space. And breathe in deeply the light of Hod, and breathe healing love into the world. Zehayom asa havaya, Magila v'nismachabo. This 29th day is the name made by the divine. On it we shall rejoice and gain delight and know delight. This is an outro for anyone who wants to stay on for this. Oh, sorry. Are you singing it? Are you singing it? Oh, I know this happens all the time. Omar, Amen. And next week, same time, same place for your soul. And Linda, if there's anything you want to say, I'm gonna have to turn.
Gabrielle's leading meditation this Saturday services.
Yes. So I'm gonna stop the recording here. It's always very hard to.
Linda Dominic, it's so good to see you on the iPad. Yes.
Thank you.
And Linda Green, welcome home.
Oh, yes.
Renee, so glad all is well with you. Yes, we missed you, Linda Leah Green.
Thank you.
And Orrin and Lucinda, you're
not there. She's not there.
No worries. I'm gonna say.